I'm in Radipole Park and Gardens and really excited to tell you some news that we've just heard about our lottery bid. We're just starting by walking through the orchard which was planted in the gardens by the Friends group back in 2012. The Friends of Radipole Park and Gardens was formed around 11 years ago and was formed on the basis of working with the local council to make improvements in the park and gardens and to make sure it was maintained for future generations. 5 years ago I joined the Friends committee, and it was very evident that the Friends and many local people of course knew all of the problems of Radipole Park and Gardens, many of them caused by lack of investment, not just in recent times but for many years. At that point I decided to make an initial application to the lottery to see if we could raise some funds for these improvements, and I was politely told that as a private individual of course I couldn't do that. The council owned the park and gardens and they needed to be the lead in the application. So at that point I persuaded the council to join forces with me and we started our application. Around about 2 years ago we were lucky enough to get through phase 1 of the application, which gave us funds to carry out all the surveys necessary, employ architects for all our ideas, and to start to cost the ideas properly to put together a final bid. And at the beginning of this year we submitted what was phase 2 of this, which was our final bid for 1.4 million. And I'm really pleased to tell you today and excited to tell you that that bid has been successful. So we will be spending 1.4 million on Radipole Park and Gardens with the local council for improvements. So I'm now going to take you through those improvements as we go through the park and gardens. We're looking over the large green area which anyone local will know floods on a regular basis. And the other problem with it flooding is that for about 8 months of the year it remains marshy and boggy and not exactly usable. So within the scheme, 2 things to help this are going to come about. One is there will be a path built from Coronation Crescent all the way through. It will meander through the orchard and across the green space, and of course that makes this area usable every day of the year because that won't get waterlogged and flooded. The large green area, there's also an intention to improve the drainage there. But I need to put a health warning on that because whatever we do, we are where we are next to a lake. Right. So there will always be a risk that it will still flood from time to time. But we're trying to alleviate it most of the time. The other thing that will help that is along the route of the path there will be some different planting areas to make it prettier and nicer to walk through. So more wild flowers and some trees potentially. And all of those are designed to do one of 2 things. Either attract insects that we want to get into the park and gardens and bees, right. Or help with flooding because they're thirsty plants. So again, by adding that we hope we can help to improve the drainage. Okay, you're looking behind me at the the existing play area. Plans are for all of this to be replaced and fully upgraded, but it's going to become a much more natural play area and distinctive to 2 age groups. There'll be a small play area for tots and infants, which will be very close to the new cafe that's going to be put in place. And then further away from that will be play that will suit older, younger teenagers and satisfy them, but much more natural play. For instance, there are plans to put in a climbing wall, but it's not going to be a wall as such. It's going to be a pile of Portland stone lined up so that children can just climb on it naturally. Lots of logs, lots of landscaping so that they can play with the ground as much as with the equipment. One of the other key things within the play area is there'll be equipment put in there that will suit disabled children in wheelchairs as well, so that they can also enjoy the play area.
Right.
And one other thing that's going in the play area, those of you that are old enough to remember, we used to have a paddling pool in the centre. Well, sadly we're not putting a paddling pool back. Health and safety is not so keen on those these days, but we are putting back water features and water play for the children. So the plans are along the lines of a village pump that dispenses water when they pull the handle, some sort of cascading timber that they can put water down and watch it flow and build dams and play with water. So again, that should be a unique feature for one of the parks in Weymouth. And of course this will be free access to all, so nobody needs to pay to come and enjoy water in our park and gardens. I'm stood on the green space just adjacent to the play area car park entrance, which is where the new cafe, Heritage Cafe, is going to be built. This cafe will have 3 toilets in it, one with disabled and baby changing area in it, all accessible from either outside or inside the cafe. Within the cafe will obviously be information about the park's history, which goes right back to Roman times. So lots of heritage for everyone to enjoy and lots of information about the park and gardens. As we then pan around the car park and what's known as the multi-games play area, that is going to be taken away and moved into one of the centre courts that I'll talk about in a moment.
Right.
And the 2 immediate tennis courts there are also going to be removed, because we have too many public tennis courts to be able to maintain. So that means it gives us an ability to extend slightly the car park. Clearly, if there are better attractions, we need to have a few more spaces, but also predominantly to give us 3 spaces specifically for minibuses, so that groups of disability, elderly, children can all access the park and gardens very easily again and park their vehicles on this car park.
Right.
Immediately behind the cafe, where the Muga is currently, is where we're going to install a sensory garden. And you've probably heard about our sensory garden because this is being funded predominantly by the Friends Group. So we initially set ourselves a target of £10,000, but that soon raised to £20,000. So that's where our target stands at the moment. And we've currently got £17,000 in the bank ready for the sensory garden. Very exciting as well, because Kingston Moorwood are going to be helping us with the sensory garden, and specifically Michelle Brown, who is one of the tutors at Kingston Moorwood, but also just a year ago won a silver medal at Chelsea Flower Show for her garden that she displayed there. So we're really proud to have Michelle designing our sensory garden and helping us to build it. You can see I'm now in the gardens, and through here, as you can imagine, there's not an awful lot that we need to do because these are beautiful. However, we are going to make sure the path network right through the park and gardens is all at the same standard, is level and is safe. And also in the gardens there are plans to add more specimen plants and trees to add to and enhance what's already here. So limited plans for the gardens, but I'm sure everyone would agree they're beautiful as they are. So as well as all the physical things the lottery money needs to provide, there are also lots of other opportunities that we need to deliver with this funding. So there will be lots of volunteering opportunities throughout the park and gardens, lots of opportunities for young people to get involved as well in those, which may help their CVs in this difficult time of employment. We are shortly to appoint an apprentice to help Andy the gardener here in the gardens, and that's part of lottery funding, along with Rosie Osborne remaining as our park development officer 3 days a week for 3 years. So lots of plans to create opportunities. And of course the cafe, which we hope is going to be really successful, also will create more opportunities for employment within the Weymouth area. Again, something I think we're going to need a lot of in these present times. So to finish off, I need to say some thank yous, and I'm going to read these out because I don't dare miss anyone. So first of all, I need to thank Dorset Council and Weymouth Council for their support and help in making these applications. I also need to thank, for round 1 success, Yvonne Lester and Tara Williams. Round 2 has been worked on by Rosie Osborne, Crystal Johnson and Sue Hogben, who is the Secretary of the Friends Group. I owe a massive amount of thanks to them for making this successful. And going forward, our project team leader is going to be Jane Biscombe, who's the Town Clerk for Weymouth. I'd also like to say thank you to everyone that supports the Friends and supports us with our events. And just to finish off, the person I want to thank most is Andy, our gardener, who keeps the park and gardens in just such a wonderful condition, and he should justifiably be as proud as he is of these. So thank you, Andy. And that's me, Mike Goulden, Chair of the Friends of Radipole Park and Gardens, signing off.